Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Thornhill, and welcome back for our third week of Couch Readings, our live stream interactive play readings. This week, I'm excited to share with you our live stream table read of Darkness and Light by Canadian playwright Tyler Mathews. Of Darkness and Light follows Lina and her daughter Sebold, scavengers in the wake of a global apocalypse, who meet a mysterious stranger while sheltering from a brutal storm. The casting for this reading has been very interesting and fun. Starting with a university classmate of mine, the casting process trickled down from there to a friend of a friend of a friend. Reading for us today will be Sakura Carrillo as Lina, Raylan Wilbanks as Sebold, and Ben Savory as Regis. We've had so much fun exploring this play yesterday together and are very excited to present it to you today. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Great.
Very good. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's go ahead and start with Sakura.
All right. Hi, my name is Sakura Carrillo, and I am currently a musical theater student at the West Texas A&M University. Yeah.
Okay, Ben?
I'm Ben Savory. I'm from Winchester, Virginia. I run a entertainment company, and I went to university with Ryan.
Okay, and now go ahead, Raylan.
I'm Raylan Stewart. I'm 10 years old. I'm in 3rd grade.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Okay, now let's not waste any more time and just jump into our reading. We present to you Of Darkness and Light by Tyler Mathews. Darkness. The interior of a massive warehouse with enormous high beams and rafters, the remnants of a tall structure, perhaps a stocking shelf, dominates the back of the stage. The ceiling is cracked and splintered, eroded by time, and moonlight leaks through, splashing across dusty rubble. Enter Lina, a young woman of color, coughing and holding the hand of her daughter Sebold, aged 10. They wear layers of patches, rags, and dirty cloth.
Wait here. I'll make sure it's safe.
A lantern roars to life. Lina searches around, walking behind the giant's shelf. Sebold takes a nervous step forward.
Mommy, is it safe?
Yeah, it's safe.
She reemerges and walks center, between two piles of rubble.
This place will do. We'll camp here for the night.
What about tomorrow?
Tomorrow! We'll get there when we get there. Unpack your bag, baby. Let's go.
Wordlessly, they begin to settle in and unpack. Lina gathers some wood scraps, kneels, and removes a tinder box from her knapsack. She sets up a fire. A sudden noise from off left startles them both.
Mommy?
The sound again, like footsteps splintering glass. Lina is getting more and more frustrated. Her tinder box isn't lighting the fire.
Shit.
Mommy?
Shit.
Glances at Sebold.
Sorry, babies.
Mommy shouldn't swear. Mommy says shit.
Sometimes the situation calls for it. There we go.
A fire crackles to life. Lina cares for it for a moment, then stands and brushes off her hands. Sebold hasn't finished unpacking.
Sebold, where's your sleeping bag?
In my knapsack?
Well, take it out and lay it down like I asked you. You know I hate asking twice.
Do we have to sleep here?
You don't like it?
It's stinky.
Stinky.
She makes a small play of looking around, sniffing at the air, and scrunching her face in disgust. Sebold giggles.
Yeah, I guess it is stinky. You've got one hell of a nose. What else do you smell?
Poops.
What kind of poo?
Doggy.
Wild doggy?
Yep.
You're a little detective, but I still need you to get your sleeping bag out. You know the routine. Chop, chop. Go on.
Sebold does as she is instructed.
Dinner as baguettes. Let us pray they don't break our teeth.
From the metro?
Yes, baby girl. I think they're
As she smells the baguettes, checking their quality, a final crack. Indeed, a footstep, smushing glass, and a hooded stranger enters and approaches the camp. Lina turns and screams. Sebold shrieks. Lina pulls a gun and points it at him. The man is caked in white powder.
Stop right there.
Help me.
He shuffles forward, coughing.
There's no room here. Back up and keep backing up until you're outside this building, then back up some more.
I mean no harm.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm not sick.
He coughs and coughs. The powder flies everywhere.
I'm not sick, I swear it.
You're coughing.
I'm not sick.
Sir? Sir, I don't want to shoot you. We were here first.
I mean no harm.
Mommy.
I have a daughter. You understand I'll do anything to protect her.
I do.
Mommy?
Quiet, babies. Let the grown-ups talk.
She is hesitantly lowering the gun. Regis has not advanced. He holds his hand up, shaking his cough.
It's baking powder. Or flour, I
A
think.
burst of cough.
Or flour, I think. I ran into a shelf in the back of the storehouse, maybe 100 feet back, filled with bags of this stuff. One fell on me. That's all, I swear it. I mean you guys no harm.
He pulls out the knife, drops it to the floor, and kicks it to Lina.
I'm unarmed. Please. Don't send me back into that storm. They're men, drifters. It's anarchy out there. Please. Please.
Mommy, he's bleeding.
Yes, he is.
Lina is hit by raking coughs. She doubles over, lowering the gun, and heaves until they subside. Regis recognizes the truth right away.
We don't have food we can share. Nothing. We're short as it is. But you can stay.
Regis released a strange noise, part pent-up sigh, part sob, and approaches the fire. He hesitates and walks slowly away from them, sitting down. Lina rubs her face, then picks up Sebold and plots her down on a small bag.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Bread or pudding?
Pudding!
Don't you want the pudding for dessert?
Yeah.
She unwraps the baguette, offers it to Sebold, and then stalls.
Tata, what are you forgetting?
Sanitizer!
You know the drill.
Sebold rummages in the knapsack, pulls out hand sanitizer and scrubs.
There you go. Eat your bread.
Mommy,
An echoey whisper.
who is he?
He is going to be spending the night here, babies. Okay?
What's his name?
His name is Regis.
Lina looks at him. He chuckles and Sebold follows suit. He faces away from them, rubbing his hands.
I like Regis.
That's good, babies. Now eat your bread.
Can Regis have something to eat?
We only have enough for ourselves.
Lina examines her, then gives in.
It's probably been a while since Regis has eaten. You think he needs some dinner too, You'd better bring him some sanitizer then. Go on.
She does. Regis turns, startled, to see a bottle of lotion thrust under his nose. He sanitizes. Lina rips her baguette in half and hands him his portion.
You sure?
Take it. Can't have had more than some canned goods or stale bread, unless you've been luckier than us.
I haven't been lucky at all. So you have my heartfelt gratitude. Tell me, an abandoned warehouse, middle of the apocalypse?
Not now. We can talk properly when Sebold is asleep.
She appears to be taken by a dizzy spell. She coughs, again a horrid, raking cough.
Fair enough.
I have to search this warehouse, batten down any doors, hatches. At the same time, I'd prefer not to leave Sebold alone.
And I'm a stranger, I get it.
So what am I going to do?
Assuming you climbed in through the shattered window to the south, that's the only way in or out. I piled these wood scraps against it when I came into the storehouse. It will hold, unless the intruders have a battering ram.
Regis,
Yes, Sebold?
do you have a wife?
No, I don't. How about you?
Not yet, but I will one day.
That's so.
She'll be as tall as a mountain with gray hair like me, and she'll smell like gooseberries.
Gooseberries. Very interesting.
The last place we stayed had a projector. We hooked up my laptop and watched Howl's Moving Castle. It's one of the only files that isn't corrupted. Anyway, there's a big mountain in the movie, and a girl with braids she thinks is pretty. So naturally, her future wife is...
A girl with braids. Tall as a mountain.
Can I watch Howl tonight with Regis?
Maybe. We'll see.
The mood has lightened.
I still need to check around. I feel I can trust you, somehow.
You can.
Another dizzy spell.
You okay?
I'll be fine.
Let me double check on the hatches.
No. I'll never sleep if I don't do it myself.
I'll take a picture. Phone doesn't work for shit. Crap. But the camera works.
Mommy says shit all the time.
I can take a picture of it. I know you have no reason to trust me.
You could go get a weapon.
If I wanted to attack you, I would have done it right away.
You were covered in flour with a gun pointed to your head.
Touché.
I'll be right back.
She stumbles, walks out of sight. Sebold pouts at Regis.
Does your mom stumble like that a lot?
Do you like Howl?
Howl's Moving Castle? I heard it's your favorite movie. Is that true?
She won't watch it. She'll say she's too tired.
Is your mom tired a lot?
Cheekily.
Well, she can't say no if she's too tired. She can't say she's too tired if we set it up while she's gone, now can she?
Sebold nods.
Why don't I take a crack at it? You still have that projector?
Yep, and the laptop is here.
Regis moves toward the center, beside the fire, and Sebold hands him a laptop and then tries to lift her mom's backpack. Regis, amazed, opens it and pulls out a film projector, a small one, with a wide lens, dusty and cracked.
Where the heck did you get this?
In a barn.
A barn?
Yep, we slept there a long time ago in the hay. I found a box and Mommy broke into it with a hammer and found this.
So all we need is an outlet or electric cable. Do me a favor and you...
Found one.
She found an electric extension cord. Regis hooks up all the tech.
There. We'll be stuck with the laptop's microphone, but we should be able to.
Howl's Moving Castle flickers to life, splashing chaotically across the disheveled shelving at the back. Tiny voices murmur from the laptop, set on the ground. Suddenly a cry and a crash. Lina has fallen or been attacked.
What was that?
Mommy?
Regis must prevent her from storming off. He wraps an arm around her and draws a knife, a long one. He wasn't disarmed after all.
Hello?
He whispers to Sebold.
Your mom's name is Lina, right?
Yep.
Lina! You all right?
Lina stumbles back into the view, holding her head.
Mommy!
Thank God. I thought maybe you'd been attacked.
No, I coughed and fell and hit my head. Why are you holding a knife?
I was protecting Sebold. Thought maybe...
Drop the knife right now.
Regis drops the knife and backs away from Sebold, raising his hands. Lina darts forward and grabs it.
Never trust a stranger. Thought you were unarmed.
There was a gun to my head. How was I supposed to know you weren't a maniac?
Mom?
What, Sebold?
She sheepishly kicks the dirt, glances at her new friend.
We just made Howl rich again. See?
Sebold points to the projections.
You were protecting her.
Slowly, Regis nods.
Been hiding from a local grifter gang. Figured maybe they tracked me here, followed my footprints in the snow, broke in, hurt you.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Can we still watch Howl, Mommy?
That depends.
Depends on what?
Whether your new friend has any other secret weapons hidden up his sleeve.
He does not.
Then let's.
He hands her the knife. Lina gives Sebold a curt nod and happily sinks down in her sleeping bag. Regis ups the volume. They settle in to watch the movie. They aren't 30 seconds in when Sebold yawns and falls asleep. Lina tries to cough quietly, glancing at Regis. The atmosphere is that of an awkward first date. I'll bet the end of the world.
Do you have kids? You're good with me.
No kids for me. Always liked them, though. It's one of my regrets. Is she asleep already?
We never make it more than a minute in before she's out cold.
Maybe that's why the princess is as big as a mountain. The movie and the dream of the movie have blended.
You're a weird guy.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm strange or if the times are strange and I'm simply grafted to them. Hell rubs off on people.
You look like you've been through hell.
She subsides into a small cough.
If you had told me a year ago I'd be nostalgic over the taste of bread, the crust, I'd never accept it. What was happening? The horror, the panic, even when the initial death tolls came out. Remember that? I thought, here's the media playing its usual game, driving up hysteria. Then the looting started, then the quarantine zones, and then anarchy. The fall of a civilization. Seems mad. I look at my hands and can't tell if they're real. We must be in a simulation. Only we're not.
The silence falls.
When the pandemic broke, I started stockpiling, hoarding everything, food, tools, supplies, weapons, you name it.
Regis is eyeing her.
Yeah. I know that look. Condescension. Judge me if you like. Think I'm a bad person? That's what my family said. My family. You're a bad person. You shouldn't hoard. We all must help each other, care for one another. I thought bullshit. Bullshit, we have to help other people. When there was mass panic in the street, who helped me? When I lost my job, when tolls were set up, gangs of mongrels burning and killing, who helped me? I helped me. Show me a family that wouldn't protect their own with their backs against the wall. None of these phantom friends were feeding my daughter, keeping her clothed and warm. I did that. I regret a lot of it now. But I'd do it again. In a heartbeat. The meals I hoarded. How could I know whether the food I stole would keep her from starving? I had to bet it would, in case it didn't.
Looks at Sebold.
How many others starved, do you reckon? Because you did that.
You're right. Keeps me up at night. But I don't know their faces. They're phantom people. She's real. She's right there. And if anything happened to her, I'd never sleep again.
A mother's love.
This isn't love. It's stronger than love.
Howell's moving castle glitches out.
Weird. Hold on.
He moves to the laptop, clicks a bunch.
Part of the file's corrupted.
He closes it. The folder the film is on contained only one other file. Regis bends down, looks close.
What's this one?
That's my husband and I dancing.
And you said you were a loner.
He opens it. It's a grainy, shaky video cam. Sebold is the one holding the camera, evidently. We get a close-up shot of her nostrils before she turns it around to reveal a small, dingy kitchen. And Lina is dancing with a smaller man. Her voice bleeds through over top background noise of Lina and her partner talking and giggling.
This is my mommy and my daddy. They dance in the kitchen whenever it's taco night. I think tacos get them excited because tacos are very exciting food to eat. They love each other. I love you, Mommy.
I love you too, babies.
Regis looks over at Lina, amused. Whatever quip he was about to make, however, fades as Lina slips from her log to the floor. She is unable to hold up her body. She coughs.
Hey, you're not looking so good.
Shh, Don't wake her. I don't want her to know. Not yet.
You've got the virus. You're sick.
He falls to his knees by her. Sebold stirs but doesn't wake.
I'm not contagious. When the rioting started, we got out quick. Drove from Melbourne to Albany. My best friend practiced family medicine there. She got me these.
Pulls out pills.
Isn't a cure, but they prevent the disease from spreading.
Did your husband know?
Dan got it first. I took Sebold and left. Drove until our car broke down. Been walking ever since. I know it's stupid, but a small part of me wants to believe he's gone. That he died in our bed, coughing up mucus. That way he'll never learn how badly I failed her.
Regis is struck dumb.
Sebold doesn't know you're sick, does she?
Lina shakes her head. She coughs. Regis lifts her head and places it on his lap. He is holding her. It is neither a romantic nor clinical, but comfortable, simple, two friends among the rubble.
I'm taking her to her grandfather out in Phoenix.
That's a 500-mile walk with grifter gangs and wild dogs, police squads in between. On foot, over rough terrain, no food, no water. You go out in that snow and you'll be dead in a day.
I have to try.
But can you even make it off the floor? Lift your head for me.
She tries. Spittle bubbles up around her mouth. Regis holds his head in dismay. Lina does not have long to live. A few days, maybe a week.
All right, just lay still for a while. Why not tell her?
I'll have to tell her now.
If I hadn't stumbled in here by accident, she might well have woken up in the morning to find you dead.
I didn't want her to worry. She worries so much. When will we eat? Where will we sleep? I wanted to save her. Spare her one more worry.
You know what I'm going to say.
Lina nods.
Let me take Sebold to her grandfather. Look, I'm headed to an auto parts dealer in town. Did a favor for the owner. He has a truck waiting for me. I'll drive you both to Phoenix.
Lina starts to laugh. Tears and snot stream down her face.
I don't know where my dad lives. We didn't get on. All I have is a P.O. box.
That will do.
Why? Why do this for us?
It'll sound stupid.
I don't care.
What the hell? So there was this class I took in high school. Weird writing class. We studied this poet named Alden Nolan.
Never heard of him.
Well, he wrote a poem that stuck with me. Been thinking about it more and more these days.
Can I hear it?
Well, it's embarrassing for me.
That's why I want to hear it.
It's not politically correct, and I don't remember all of it, but it went something like this.
As he recites the poem, the videos change, morph, become a surreal montage.
I sit down on the floor of a school for the retarded, a writer of magazine articles accompanying a band that was met at the door by a child in a man's body who asked them, "Are you the surprise they promised us?"
Children are being hauled away by police.
It's Ryan's Fancy, Dermot on guitar, Fergus on banjo, Dennis on penny whistle. In the eyes of this audience, they're everybody who has ever appeared on TV. I've been telling lies to a boy who cried because his favorite detective hadn't come with us. I said he'd sent his love, and no, I didn't think he'd mind if I signed his name.
Grocery stores, empty, with frail old men and women wandering the aisles in search of one last can or tub.
To a scrap of paper, when the boy took it, he said, "Nobody will ever get this away from me," in the voice, more hopeless than defiant, of one accustomed to finding that his hiding places have been discovered, used to having objects snatched. Now everyone is singing, "Old MacDonald had a farm, and I don't know what to do," about the young woman. I call her a woman because she's 25 at least, but think of her as a little girl. She plays the part so well. having known no other, about the young woman who sits down beside me, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, rests her head on my shoulder.
Wildfires raging, with firefighters battling them, breaking and fleeing to the safety of the truck. Mass panic in the streets of major cities. Vandals smashing windows.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning, not an hour for music, and at the best of times I'm uncomfortable. In situations where I'm ignorant of the accepted etiquette, it's one thing to jump a fence, quite another thing to blunder into one in the dark. I look around for a teacher. They're all busy. Hold me, she whispers. Hold me.
Below a microscope, a virus attacks white blood cells, spreading and turning them into sinister red. World leaders meeting, bombs going off in the streets.
I put my arm around her. Hold me tighter. I do, and she snuggles closer. I half expect someone in authority to grab her. Of me, I can imagine this being remembered forever as the time the sex-crazed writer publicly fondled the poor retarded girl. Hold me, she says again. What does it matter? What anybody thinks. I put my arm around her, rest my chin in her hair, thinking of children, real children, and of how they say it. Hold me. And of a patient in a geriatric ward I once heard crying out to his mother, dead for half a century. I'm frightened. Hold me. And of a boy soldier screaming it on the beach, Dieppe, of Nelson in Hardy's arms, of Frida gripping Lawrence's ankle until he sailed off in the ship of death.
A forsaken city. The streets strewn with glass, rubble, and debris. Cars abandoned in wild parking lots, overgrown by weeds. Execution squads, police in black armor leading citizens through tall gates.
It's what we all want in the end. To be held. Merely to be held. Not to be worshipped. Not to be admired. Not to be famous. Not to be feared. Not even to be loved, but simply to be held.
Sebold's nostrils flaring. Lina and her husband dancing in the kitchen, a private moment against the backdrop of war.
She hugs me now, this retarded woman, and I hug her. We are brother and sister, father and daughter, mother and son, husband and wife. We are lovers. We are two human beings huddled together for a little while by the fire in the Ice Age, 2,000 years ago.
Lina has closed her eyes.
I've been thinking a lot about that poem. Maybe Nolan's right. Maybe all we can do is hold each other and wait for the storm to pass.
Regis holds Lina, and she reaches back ever so slightly, clinging to his flower-strained sleeve, and Sebold's quiet breath rises and falls, and he rocks her, the way a man rocks his child, or a husband rocks his wife. They are neither, and the video cuts out, leaving only the two of them.
Thank you, Regis.
What for?
Blackout. Great job, everyone. So much fun. What a story, right?
It's a good one.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. So let's just go ahead and jump into the discussion here. I've got a few questions to ask, and then I have a few questions from the writer as well. But first, I kind of just want to start with what is like one word expression, one word response of your gut level expression of the play? How did you, just one word that kind of explains it all for you? Let's go ahead and start with Sakura.
Mine would just be light. Do you want us to explain it at all?
Yeah. Go ahead and just, give us a little explanation.
If I had a choice, I would choose either tunnel or light, because this play is almost about how, like, we always talk about how there's light at the end of the tunnel, but it always doesn't have to be at the opposite end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's at the end we just came from, and that's enough.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, wow. Very good. Very good. Okay, Ben?
I'd say gripping. And I say that too because it feels like they're each I like gripping more than grasping, but like they're holding on to something. Like there's something that they're each holding on to, whether it's Raylan with, or Sebold played by Raylan, holding on to Hal's moving castle and the girl with braided hair, or Lina holding on for the light at the end of the tunnel, even though there isn't one, or Regis, holding on to. He thinks that a car is going to actually get him through, like that. Moving west is going to solve the problem.
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, you got to think, everybody has to have something to look forward to, because if you don't, it just gets darker and darker, right? I mean, you've got to think of something, and for Lina, it's definitely, Sebold, and for Regis, it's as delusional as it may be, I need to get that car, we need to go. Okay, very good. Raylan, what's one word that you would use?
Exciting, because that's how I felt whenever I first read it.
Okay, very good.
Different parts. You wonder what's going to happen next for it.
Very true. Very true. You just don't know what's going to happen, right? Okay. Next question is, what moments in the play just stood out to you the most? What was one that, when you think back on it in the future, that will be what pops into your head? Go ahead, Sakura.
I think I just really enjoyed when the projector came on and all of that happened in that moment. I just thought that was a beautiful way to like almost physically show their memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not just memories, you're getting a very distinct picture of what's happening in the world around them, what they're bunkering down and hiding from. That's probably one of my favorite points. And just on that, I was doing a bit of research on the poet, and it's an actual Canadian poet. And as politically incorrect as it is, a lot of his poetry is very famous, and a lot of people used a lot of his poems for a lot of things. So I think it was a really, really great touch to wrap up the play, and just everybody wants to be held. Everybody, it's a really long poem, but what it comes down to is everybody just wants to be held. And I think it was quite brilliant. All right, Ben, same question to you. What moment stood out for you?
I think for me, it's just the last exchange. Thank you, Regis. What for? It's good, but having read it now a few times and we've gone through it, something that I didn't truly notice before, but would have impacted Regis in that moment was in the stage direction said, and she reaches back. Like that whole time he was doing the holding, there wasn't being held, and she does what she can in that moment. And I think that it's for him that it was his long way of asking. You had a lifetime of being held, and that was one of my many regrets. I didn't have a family, and you held me back.
Very true. Oh my gosh, yeah, very true. Do you think, Ben, that maybe this gives Regis something else to look forward to? You've connected yourself with someone else. There's trust there now, and now like this, Lina's not going to make it. You're basically admitting to the fact that you'll take care of Raylan. Do you think that gives Regis something to look forward to?
Yeah, or terrify. And I think that there's a lot for the rewatcher or re-listener in this play for how brief it is. And that being, Regis is saying like, I never had, it's one of my many regrets. And in his mind, he's trying to figure out like, is this woman sick or is she not? Because I sounded sick, but I'm not, so maybe it's just a coincidence for her too. And he's trying to maybe come to terms with like, I'm going to end up having this 10-year-old girl. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, now on to you, Raylan. What moment stood out to you in the play? Which one excited you or will you always remember?
When Regis and Lina are talking at the end, and Regis says that if he had not shown up, Sebold could have woken up to find Lina dead, and Sebold would be all alone. It makes me feel scary inside to think about it.
Yeah, but it's very good that Regis did show up, right? That way we know that Sebold has someone there for him, right? Very good, very good. All right, so we got a comment here. this genre hits different now because of current times. It must be why films like Contagion and TV shows like Pandemic are trending on Netflix. Now, let me ask this question. Do you guys think that there'll be an influx of projects like this made in the future because of what's going on? Go ahead, Sakura.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that this pandemic has brought forward an entire new world. There's not really many pieces of work that people have been able to write about a world like this because we've never lived in a world like this. And in the same sense, it's bringing forth all of these emotions and all of these different ways that our brains work because we're in this entirely different world and it was not a choice and no one saw it coming. And it was just a meme until it wasn't.
Yes.
And it's just crazy that this is like a moment that we're all physically experiencing, you know?
Well, I mean, like you had said, the very few plays or stories or anything out there that does cover something like this is based on pure fiction up till now. Nobody actually knew how to put a full emotion into it because they never lived through it. And now we have this going on. And I strongly agree with you that, because we're going through it, because we're living it, and it feels like I think there's going to be a huge influx of stories like this, Red. Ben, over to you. How is it that you feel?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a bubble of work in a lot of spheres, and Newton came up with a lot of his theories while isolating away from the city, during a similar situation, and there's just this idea that I think constraint produces creativity. We often say that, invention is the child of necessity. And just this idea that there's a lot of processing that people need to do, and there's a lot of problems people need to solve in this. And I think that there are going to be people who are going to be processing fear, that are going to be processing stress, grief. And for some people, it's going to be processing disruption. They might not encounter this in the same way as many others. They might just be inconvenienced and stuck at home. And some people are going to find that to be a blessing. They're going to have time with their families and things like that. And they might get a new light, a new direction, whatever it is. I think we're going to see creative work, not just in end of the world storytelling. I think we'll see redeeming storytelling as well. I think we'll see lights at the end of the tunnels in the stories to come.
Very true, very true. It just brings me up to my last couch reading that I did. Woman in the UK by the name of Heather Alexander. She wrote and starred in her play, and we got to discussing about it in our little rehearsal we had. And I had brought up the fact that the one main reason that I wanted to do this is because writers are going to still be writing, where everyone's stuck at home. Writers are still going to be writing. And she brought up a really great point that it was like, well, what was it that she said? Along the lines of, yes, you would think that that's what we're doing, but because of the times that we're in, we are having such a hard time wrapping our minds around what's going on that it is almost too difficult to be creative. So what I'm thinking is they may not be writing right now, but I can guarantee you that once everything starts getting back to normal, that stuff's just going to rush to their brain. The ideas are going to be flowing. It's going to be, and everybody's just going to be binge writing because once they get back to normal, they're able to process it, all this stuff's going to, bring up all these new ideas for things, which I think is going to be great. It's going to be amazing to see. Now, Raylan, over to you. Now, I know you're, just a little girl in school and everything, and you've had to, stay at home and everything like that. And it must be very difficult. But like after we got done reading this play, do you like this kind of play? Do you like this genre?
Yeah.
Yeah? Very good. Very good. And you had said before, this is your first play, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Have you enjoyed it? You having fun? Very good. Very good. Okay, now let's jump into a question from the author that I have. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so he asked, Does dystopian theater / storytelling need to be centered around a doomsday narrative? Can it be about growing together rather than growing apart? Let's go ahead, Ben, and jump to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about, we don't really know how devastated things are outside. It could be that Lina is just running under the radar so that she doesn't get isolated away from her daughter. And there could be and maybe it's the complete, maybe the whole town's blown to bits and this is the only building with a roof left on it that isn't garrisoned by a gang. I don't know. But I think that there's that part actually kind of didn't matter after the first couple of minutes of dialogue, just because you're like, oh, well, this is the story I'm interested in anyway. These people right here, right now. And I think that live theater has always done a good job of that. You don't need the God complex to have a good good play. Or sometimes in a movie, you need to be able to flash between, well, what's going on at the UN right now, and what's the military doing, and who's the rebellion group, and whatever. You don't need that. You want the very human story, and I think that live theater's always done a really good job of telling the meta story through the people, because you got the dichotomy of the hoarder versus the giver in this play, which is one microcosm of what a pandemic might look like. But I think that was one of the main points for the writer to explore, how those two people also still at the end were together.
Very true, very true. I just want to take, before we wrap it up, want to discuss this real quick. Comment. Sid Barker says, it's interesting how much media plays such a big role in our day-to-day lives, but now it seems we're relying so heavily on technology right now. She says she adores the author's integration of that element into an almost post-apocalyptic world. And I don't think she could be any more right, with the situation and what's happening right now. Having that as the backdrop for this play is something that's so relevant. It's something that everybody can connect with, and everybody can they see it every day. We're all so heavily relied on the media for all of our information. So I think that was such a great element. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. Just want to thank you guys so much for being here today. It's been so much fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It's such a thought-provoking and a really great play. So again, thank you guys so much. Maybe work again in the future, see how many plays we get through, and we'll just go from there. So Raylan, Sakura, Ben, thank you again. You guys have a good day, okay?
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody. Now, before we go, I'd just like to talk a bit about the playwright, Tyler's Theater Company. It's Studio 013. You can go ahead and check that out on Facebook and Instagram and just see what they're all about. And all theaters around America and the world are really struggling during this time, forced to cancel productions and refund tickets, and they can all use donation is too small. Thank you all for being here with us today. It was a joy to present such a thought-provoking and poignant play. On behalf of myself, Tyler, Sakura, Raylan, and Ben, I thank you so much for joining our couch readings. Follow Thornhill Theater Space on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep up to date, and join us next week for our next couch reading. Again, thank you, and have a great day.